Welcome to another episode of Smitty Snippets. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully there are no microphone issues tonight. If there are, I need you to tell me, right? Not just sit through an entire show with it. Just sounds like me barking into a microphone. Okay? Do me that solid. Other than that, let me introduce you to the crew. Crew, say what's up.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
Wow.
how's it
Every
going,
week.
everybody?
Every god
Mm,
week.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You love it.
So we've got a pretty good show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting topics, a lot of news out there as far as what's coming out soon and what has already come out that was trash. And some people pointing a finger, playing a blame game.
Mm, mm.
So let's see what's happening. Chris, what you got?
Before we get started, I just want to say, regardless of what side you stand on, I know we got a lot of people out there that may or may not live in areas where they're having a protest. So, regardless, again, of where you stand or what your beliefs or whatever are, just make sure you're safe. That's all I'm asking for. But if you're here with us tonight, buckle up because you're about to have some laughs. First topic tonight is the Running Man remake. Glenn Powell was able to get the green light from Arnold Schwarzenegger to to take on the role of Ben Richards in the upcoming remake of the 1987 action movie, The Running Man. Powell recently revealed he asked his good friend Patrick Schwarzenegger if he could talk to Arnold, stating that he'd not seen him since they shot Expendables in Bulgaria. From this meeting, he was able to get Arnold's full blessing. For those of you who may not be familiar with the movie, it's based on a book by Stephen King and stars Schwarzenegger as a man participating in a game show for convicted criminals who are hunted by professional killers. Powell told CinemaCon attendees that making this was the hardest thing, quote, I've done in my life. Production started in London last September and is due to hit theaters November 7th of this year. So, Smitty, we'll start with you. We know how you feel about remakes, but are you interested in? Did you see the original?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you interested in the remake?
Nope. No. Nope. Not at all. The original was so bad. So bad. It's like, other than Predator, it was like all those other action movies that you just forget back in the day, right? They took a very large, muscular man and put him in the tightest suit that they could find,
Mm.
and then they put him in a death game, right? It's basically like what's that Mockingbird movie? It's basically that, but with Arnold Schwarzenegger in a small tight arena. It wasn't good, right? It's not good. I don't know why you would remake that. I don't
Well,
know why
that's
you keep
maybe
doing
why they're
remakes
remaking
anyway.
it because they felt it wasn't good.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. They
Okay.
they should stop. It is. Lisa Rice says cheesy fun. You damn right. It is cheesy. It is so cheesy. Chester cheese. It is so cheesy. So it ain't. I don't care what they do to it. It's not gonna be good, right? It's not gonna be good. So set your expectations low,
Oh
right, and
my.
then lower them, because that's where it's going.
Good
Okay, it's basically
Lord. All right,
so.
Casanova.
Jesus.
Jeez.
No, I'm like Lisa. It was like I thought that the original Running Man was 80s cheesy fun. It was like every other Arnold Schwarzenegger movie coming out. It was like he had a quip before he killed somebody, and you have Richard Dawson in there, which was like he was doing Family Feud or famous for hosting Family Feud at the time. So that was somewhat amusing, and it was fine. It was like I've seen it a couple of times. Can't remember the last time I saw it, but them
Hmm.
doing a remake of it. All right, but then did Arnold Schwarzenegger have to get Steven Spielberg's permission to do this movie? It was like, why is Glenn Powell going, "Hey Arnold, can I go ahead? Is it okay if it's you if we remake it?" It was like, unless he's got the rights to this thing, why is you asking? It was
I
like if the
think
studio says, "Hey, we making a Running Man," it was like most you can do is you put Arnold Schwarzenegger in a crowd shot. He's like he's one of the cheering masses watching whatever's going on if they're still going the game show route. It
I
was like
wonder
they're
if
like, "Hey, do I have your permission?" It's like, no, get the hell out of here with that. But I'd be
sheesh.
curious. I'm curious what in the next
I
few
am
like in
not.
the next 3 or 4 years when you see a trailer what this movie looks like.
It's
It
due
was
to
like,
come
are you
out this
still doing a game
November.
show?
So,
Oh, this November? Oh, okay. Well,
hmm.
even still, it's coming out in November. I'm curious to see what the hell this thing looks like. It was like, give me that first
I,
trailer so I can see like, All right, so that's what you're doing with it. Okay, and then that will determine whether I will go and see this or not.
Okay.
Just don't go. Just don't. I mean, what do you think, Chris? You are you excited to see Running Man?
No.
Did you see the original one? Let's start
No,
there.
I didn't think so.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
But I mean,
You lucky. You lucked up. Okay.
And this is for her, and then like with her not seeing it, this is one of the reasons that you have these remakes of all this older stuff with
no, I don't think so.
Smitty being like, well, one of the reasons Smitty being like 75 and then me being 20 years younger than him, it
Shut
was like
up.
some of the stuff that we seeing for the first time. It was like, we've seen this stuff before, but it's like it's new to you. And it's new to a bunch of other people. It's like I doubt my nephew watches a lot of stuff. He may not, he's in his 20s. I don't know if he saw the Running Man at all. So this would be new to
Mhm.
him.
Did you just say I was 75? Bitch.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, no, I haven't
75,
watched it. I
Chris like
don't plan
76.
on watching it. No, shut up. I don't plan on watching it. But I'm sure we'll figure it out, or somebody will. One of the three of us is gonna watch it, right? Smitty, you volunteering?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's that. I think,
I'm gonna go
in all
see it, and then I'm gonna
seriousness,
sit there. I'm gonna come back and tell y'all. It's like this was the greatest action movie I've ever seen in my life.
you
Yo, you need to
whatever.
go see this. It
I
was like
think
it's the best. Yo,
I think he just went to get his blessing as far as him playing Schwarzenegger's role. Like, do you think I'm good enough to be able to um
but even with that, it was like I mean, I guess what like what's he gonna say? Like if he said no, it's like well, I already signed a contract, so I'm doing it. It was like, what are you gonna do? It's like how much like I'm like I understand like, hey, do I have your permission to marry your daughter? It's like I guess that's a polite thing to kind of do, but at the same time, if the studio's
mhm,
gonna remake it and then he said, no, Glenn, I don't want you to do it. I prefer Tom Cruise takes this role, then you do. They're still making it. It was just like maybe go with an actor that maybe they would go with an actor that he preferred, but if he's not a
Hey,
producer on the film, why am I asking you? Like
it's
that's what
listen,
I
so
don't
I
get.
bad.
don't well, he's not the
I can't even find pictures for it. Every time I look it up, it's just photos of Schwarzenegger's face on the cover of a DVD or something. I can't even find pictures of the movie. That's how awful it is. Nobody wanted that.
I mean, I don't
Nobody.
think this is the first time someone else has like gone, or someone has gone and requested the
Yeah, I'm sure.
approval for playing the role, right? Not of him,
Yeah,
but
like
playing the role of the prior, right?
oh yeah, I'm sure, but it's like I'm more. I guess I've been more used to, I guess, of hearing it from. It was like, hey, Ridley Scott, I want to go ahead and remake Alien. Is that cool with you? He's like, get the hell away from my movie. Oh, all right then. And then it's like you hear stuff like that. It was like you go into a director or an author or something like that. It's like a star that
Hmm.
was in the movie. It's like, all right.
Okay.
That's fine.
Like to me, it's
That's
weird.
whatever.
All right. We're gonna move on to a story about Amazon Prime. Um, Amazon Prime is teaming up with DC Studios. They have what is a Superman early screening available for Prime members. Amazon has announced their collaboration with DC Studios, giving Amazon Prime members the only opportunity to watch James Gunn's Superman 3 days before its release. Through the program, subscribers can catch early screenings on Tuesday, July 8th, ahead of the official July 11th release. Casanova received a promotional email for this and said he went online to check for any seating that may still be available. And let's just say what's left available is not worth saying that you were the first to watch this movie.
Be ready to
Um,
crane your neck.
as an aside, for all of you who do plan on catching it when it first comes out, James Gunn has confirmed a post-credit scene, so sit tight for a few minutes longer to see what he has in store. Now, my question, Casanova, will start with you, especially since you're the one that got the promotional email. What do you think of something like this? Do you think this is something that will become a regular thing for expected box office hits? Um,
It's,
uh, Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't think you were finished. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's something that they already do anyway. It was like
Mhm.
they do advanced screenings of like stuff like this. It was like Fandango teaming up with Amazon and Warner Brothers. Like to me, is more of a thing. Warner Brothers needs the goodwill because they are just hurting studio wide from questionable decisions from their leadership on doing a lot of things.
Mhm.
So they have a lot of bad will and a lot of debt. So any advanced word of mouth that they can get for this before release is, more the better for them. But like it's fine. My whole thing with that is like I don't know how late I saw the email from Fandango,
Mhm.
but I was easily friggin' I guess whether I was 3 minutes late or 20 minutes late, the theaters that are around me that I checked, it was like if you were buying a ticket, then you were sitting up front watching it like this the whole time on an IMAX screen. So
Right.
like I would have like I don't know whether and then I also saw something that you could buy blocks of tickets. So you could have been like a
Oh,
radio
wow.
station buying 20 blocks of like buying 20 seats and stuff like that. So I don't know if
Mhm.
that participated in the scarcity of the seats.
Gotcha.
But I mean it's like, seeing it 3 days early, all it would have been, it was like, hey, I saw Superman 3 days early. And it's like whether I
Right.
liked it or didn't, I just saw it early. It's like I'm not getting nothing out of that. I'm not writing a review for it or anything there. It's like I'll go see it on Friday. Take a day
Right.
off, hit the movies, go see it early,
Mhm.
and then, go have lunch, have a couple of drinks, and then like hopefully I just had a good time while I was there.
Okay. Smitty, what about you?
I'm excited for it. Before I get into it, I want to go back to Running Man real quick. I just want
Oh.
to I need an answer to something. Why
Oh.
they used to do us like this? Why they used to do us like this? Look at his haircut, man.
Why?
What? His uniform don't even fit. It don't even fit. It's all sagging. Look at it's up on his shoulders and stuff. Look at his hair. Come on, man. I mean, you could do better
That's
than that.
80.
Like in the movies, this the dude from Alien, right? The
What?
the mechanic from Alien.
Yeah,
They could
yeah,
have did him better than that. That's all I'm saying, man. We
he was
we
sitting
got
there, it's like, all right. It was
we
like
got to start the
probably happy.
system with
Wasn't
that.
he was in the Live and Let Die too, I think. It was like the one James Bond movie where he blew up or something like that.
Just saying.
I
Goodness.
think. But
I
that's just
refuse.
bad costuming.
Anyway, yeah, I
Superman.
can't wait for this
Mhm.
movie. I thought that this movie was going to be absolute trash because they had so much jammed into it,
Mhm.
and I was wrong. I was wrong. This movie looks like it's going to be really really good. I'm excited for it. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. This is day one. This is day one. I need to know if the people in the comments are gonna go see this day one. Is this a day one movie for you, or are you gonna wait, let it breathe, and let somebody tell you whether or not it's good? Because I would understand that too. Because I've been
Mm,
tricked a bunch of times.
well,
So
yeah, we know. We know. I
bunch.
think for me, this is something I would prefer to see opening weekend. There are some movies that I'd rather not get the perspective of others before watching, and I think this is one of them. And then we could have the debate afterwards. But no, this is something I would watch the first weekend.
Okay.
On day one, if I can.
Okay. All right.
Summer
All
movie
right. What
time.
else we got?
Checking it out.
Lisa Wright says she's gonna wait. Are you gonna wait for our review, Lisa?
Why? Why? I mean, not that I'm hating or anything. I want to know why. Like, what's the
What's
reason?
the hesitation?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Lisa to provide us with a response to that, You gotta
Trying to
go
figure.
day one, Casanova said. All right, we're gonna move on while we wait for Lisa to provide us a reason on why she'd rather wait. All right, Michael
Yeah,
B.
I'm
Jordan.
curious.
You're
Cause like
curious?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to why she wants to wait. Because there are some reasons that I could see waiting, but I'm curious to see what she wants to wait.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll circle back. Michael B. Jordan is messing folks up as always. Jeremy Slater, who created the Disney Plus series, recently recounted how Arthur Harrow, played by Ethan Hawke, was not supposed to be the first villain Mark Spector, who is played by Oscar Isaac, um, faced off with. And this is for the show Moon Knight. In an interview with Comic Book, Slater outlined how he had a scenario set up where Moon Knight would have had a similar dynamic with what would be his first nemesis in the series, the character of Bushman. However, he cited that because Black Panther had just been released and Michael B. Jordan played the role of Killmonger so well in the dynamic between that character and Black Panther, he was afraid it would be redundant and would not live up to what was just done so well in that movie. Slater says, quote, Michael B. Jordan was so damn good as Killmonger in that movie and that he cast such a big shadow that everything we wrote wound up feeling a little bit derivative. Slater gets the credit for the very first episode of Moon Knight, but says that Marvel Studios decided to go a different direction. An entire new team of writers was put together to complete the season. Moon Knight has not been officially canceled, but the further we move away from season one, which was released in 2022, it seems highly doubtful. So, based on what Slater has revealed, do you think he would have been able to pull that dynamic off, or are you glad the change was made? Also, would you be willing to see season two of Moon Knight this long after release of season one? If so, what would you like to see? And Smitty, will go to you.
No,
Oh,
your turn, Casanova.
my goodness.
No, I don't care to see. I know this is like everybody's into like this whole superhero thing. They want to see superheroes at their weakest, right? With the have psychological problems, or they can relate to people who have mental illness and things like that. And that's cool. I understand that, right? And I understand that they're trying to relate to people who have these things, and that's cool, right? But my life messed up, right? My life is messed up. I don't need the superhero's life to be messed up too, right?
But his life was
I
only
don't
messed
need to
up
watch
because
that.
when
I could look at my own life,
when he
you know.
became Moon Knight, he couldn't remember. Like that
No,
wasn't.
he got a split personality. Crazy. He crazy. He crazy. I don't want to see a crazy superhero that dress up in in I don't know, man. Do you care about Moon Knight like that?
I liked Moon Knight. I thought it was a good show. I
Why?
would like to because it. What do you mean? So wait.
Oh God.
You prefer Daredevil over Moon Knight. Where, as far as I'm concerned, this particular season of Daredevil, yes, may have been better than the original season of Moon Knight. But the original Daredevil, I would say, was like they were very similar as far as like how they both felt. But you loved the original Daredevil. You didn't like at all nothing about Moon Knight.
No, no. I don't like no. I don't like him going to sleep and becoming somebody else. Now I got to watch somebody
But
else.
see,
Now they
to
got to
me,
deal with
that's a
that later on in the season.
to me that's an interesting. That's an interesting
Not for
piece
me. It's
to it.
confusing. Not for
You.
me. Not for me.
Oh.
Not for me. I don't want to watch him run around in museums like incompetent, like, oh, and this shit just accidentally happening, like Jar Jar Binks. That's what you were watching for the first half, like a
No,
Jar Jar movie. Him accidentally doing stuff.
no,
Whoa, just stuff just happening. No, 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 no. And his uniform didn't look that great to me. And then they try to tie in another hero. I guess she's from the comics, and I don't know, Scarab. I think that was her
yeah,
name.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then they had a bad guy who just had I don't know, he had a stick, I think I don't know. I don't know what was going on, and I watched the whole thing,
Okay,
and
so
then there was
that's why you didn't like it because
and then there was a
you
hippopotamus on a boat, and then
okay.
just letting people go.
So
I don't
because
know, and
you
there was a
couldn't follow
ghost in
the
a book inside of a
mythology,
statue.
the Egyptian,
There's a lot
okay, so
happening.
because you could okay, so because you
There's a
couldn't
lot
follow
happening.
that is why you didn't like it. We'll move on to Casanova.
Yeah,
Casanova.
I liked
yeah,
I liked Moon Knight.
yeah.
Um,
Of course you do.
I was like, I liked the show. It was like I wish they would have went maybe in a different direction, but I was fine with the show how it was. Like
Hmm.
Marvel characters always had problems. Peter Parker never had money. Tony Stark was an alcoholic. Um,
See,
Captain
here you
America
go,
was just a
Smitty.
man at a time. They always had problems
All
of
got
some
problems.
type. But it was like I was fine. It
Boom.
was like going the Bushman route with avoiding that since Michael B. Jordan did such a good job as Killmonger. It makes sense because, like you said, you wouldn't want to be derivative and then fumble the bag at the time. So the villain that they chose was all right. If the
Hmm.
show comes back if the character more likely shows up in one of the Avengers movies, I wouldn't be surprised if
Okay.
he got a second season of his show. It's like I'll be fine with it. It was like I hope they did something, different. Whether they took stuff from the more recent comics or something like that, that would be fine. But I wouldn't mind seeing a second season of Moon Knight.
Okay, I'm just curious how Smitty responds to Frog's life with meh and then highlights his own comment. Like,
Yeah,
for
I
real?
highlighted it.
That's
It's
what you're
important.
doing?
It's important that everybody sees it. I'm aware. I'm aware that superheroes have the the thing that hurts them. Right? Peter Parker was his uncle. Superman was his mother. Um, and his planet. I'm sorry, his planet blew up. And Batman, it was his parents. I'm aware. Like every hero had that thing, right? But for you to be, not right, and you taking me for that ride up here, I don't want to do that. I
Okay,
don't
but
want to
we
do that.
just literally watched a movie where that happened
What?
with Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that neither. Because that kind of ended in a tie. That ended in a tie. That man didn't even go to jail or nothing. They were just like, oh,
Put him
he's
in
got mental
jail.
issues, so
How do
it's
you put
fine.
him in jail?
I don't know. Maybe
Right, you not
maybe
locking him up.
at the very least you'd be like, listen, I know you didn't mean to, but you can't be on the team, bro. Look, you see how much damage you just did. You can't be on the team. Setting a bad precedent. You can't be
Would
up
you
there.
rather set him loose to be a problem somewhere else than keep him on the team
And
where you can rely on
I mean, I don't want to die or nothing, but you can't be on the squad, right, guys?
him?
You can't.
It's like, you know what? Let's send you on a mission. You know what? We need somebody to guard the moon. And I think you're the best person for that job.
My
And we'll give you
goodness.
a radio and you can report back to us every once in a while. If you run into some problems, you let us know. We'll be right up there.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. We just want to circle back real quick to Lisa why
Yeah.
she's not interested in watching Superman the first week. And she says, I wish things were different from the onstart years ago. My feelings are hurt. So her feelings with regard to the Superman, I'm not sure exactly that's in reference to, but I guess she just didn't like how they
Lisa, you wanted more Henry Cavill? Well, that's what it was. And when he did,
stopped.
he wasn't coming back, you was just like, all right then.
But I
Like it
thought
could have been. It was like because that
and
was
he
a lot of
played a good
people's.
Superman though.
Yeah, it was like he was a good Superman, and a lot of people liked
Mm-hmm.
him, and that was
It was
their
Mm-hmm.
the most.
favorite. And then him
Yep.
not coming back, so
Mm-hmm.
that could be her
He
whole
wanted
thing.
to come
Like,
back.
looking for clarity.
He wanted to come back, but they were like, nah,
Yeah,
you were too good. You're just the best
we're gonna
Superman that
go in a.
we've ever had.
Mhm.
Not since Christopher Reeves, but I mean,
Hey,
Yeah.
but like if you had Christopher Reeve, who's second?
well, that's what I'm saying. Since him,
Oh,
yes,
okay, yeah.
he's the. I would have loved to continue watching him in the movie playing Superman. So everybody has their decisions that they make, and whatever his decision was, all right, fine. So we'll just have to live with it because we don't have any other choice. We're gonna move on. Maybe that's why Lisa's upset is because he's not going to be part of it anymore. All right,
Oh,
moving on.
rumors
Huh?
are to be believed.
What'd
So
you
the
say?
rumors should be believed. That if rumors are to be believed, you might want to go see the new Superman movie.
Uh-oh. Whoop, whoop. All right.
It's only a rumor. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna move on to Madam Web. Smitty, this is what you were talking about. So the first question is definitely going to go to you. Dakota Johnson
Oh
says
boy.
says says the flop that was Madam Web was not her fault.
Yeah.
Speaking recently to the LA Times, Dakota Johnson wants to make it known the flop was not all on her. The movie was released in 2024, earning $43 million domestically and scoring an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Dakota Johnson played the main character, Cassandra Webb. She reflects on the movie and says, quote, there's this thing that happens now where a lot of creative decisions are made by committee or made by people who don't have a creative bone in their body. And it's really hard to make art that way or to make something entertaining that way. And I think, unfortunately, with Madam Web, it started out as something that turned into something else. And I was just sort of along for the ride at that point. But that happens. Bigger budget movies fail all the time, unquote. Dakota seems to be in a good just seems to be a good sport about it, saying, quote, I've done even tiny movies that didn't go well. Who cares? So, Smitty,
Mm-hmm.
we know how you feel
Yep.
about the movie. With that being said,
Mhm.
what now are your thoughts on the movie and how it panned out? Especially with because I don't know, I don't think you really ever relayed your issue with the movie, whether or not it was with her acting, or just overall the movie. But
Um,
with that explanation, what do you now think of the movie?
um, it's terrible. It didn't get better. It's still it was awful then, and it is awful now. I do agree with her. It is not her fault, right?
Mhm.
It's not her fault. But you did make this movie, right? So for you to come out a year later and be like, "Listen, it's not my fault. I just did what they told me to do, and the movie was trash." Like, you just let it die. Just let it die. No one's doing a Madam Web 2. You had to say nothing, right?
Well,
Nobody was saying anything. And I take back what I said. Your performance wasn't that great neither, Miss. Okay, Miss Webb. All right, you was dry. Okay, KFC biscuits dry. So let's not act like you didn't have no part to play in this. You was just as dry as you wanted to be with that acting. Okay, so yeah, you had a small part to play in it. Granted, it's not your fault that the movie was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. This movie wasn't even good enough to be a first draft. Okay, it just shouldn't have happened. All right, so no,
hey.
I'm not blaming you for that. But god damn, man, you. I know there was no screening for this. It could not have been a screening for this. You'd have got booed. You'd have got booed. Okay, so I agree with you. Not completely your fault. I do blame you for bringing this up. No one asked you any questions. They're not doing a Madam Web 2. You didn't have to say anything. Right now, you're trying to throw your counterparts under the bus a year later is messed up. Right.
Well,
I hope
she's
you.
out promoting another movie, but I'm it may have been that she was asked about it, but do
Don't
you think
answer it.
maybe, well, she might be trying to rehabilitate herself, because if that's what people are remembering you for, and you're saying I didn't have any decision making in this movie, I was just there and did what I was told,
Nah,
then
just don't.
oh,
Just
all
don't. Just
right.
don't. Dakota, what do you think about Madam Web? Nah, I'm not. I'm done. I'm on the bigger and better things. I'm not. I'm
I'm
not
talking
talking about
about
that.
Running Man now. Talking about Running
Get him
Man.
out of here.
I'm not
Get
talking
him out
about
of here.
Madam Web.
We're not
Casanova,
talking
go
about
ahead.
I understand movies are hard to make. I understand there are a lot of people involved in them. But when Sony approached her to like, hey, you want to do Madam Web? One, her agent should have did the homework and was like, these are the movies that Sony pumped out based on Spider-Man stuff and what they did and how they were received when Marvel was not involved. You don't want to do this movie, and she could have easily passed on it. I
Mhm.
don't know why she accepted it. Maybe her bank account was low. Maybe she
That's
was,
it.
just like, I can turn this trash into a gem. I don't know what it
Nope.
was, but the trailers for that movie were terrible. It was like it looked bad. And it was like, and it just was made because Sony was trying to hold on to the Spider-Man license as long as possible. They had to keep something in the pipeline to get that, to hold on to that license. And it's all of those movies, that Morbius, Craven, Venom, like, and I know a lot of people liked Venom, but all of those movies were made simply so they could
Got
hold
my
on to
Venom
that license.
shirt on right now.
That's great. He's not good without Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
So it was like, but you know, that was it. And then her just like, somebody may have asked her, hey, about Madam Web. It's like, it's Smitty's right. She didn't have to answer that question. She didn't have to say it was everybody else's fault. It's not my fault. It was like, ma'am, you were in it. And it was like, and your acting was wooden in the trailers. And from what I heard, it did not get better. So it was like, you was there. It was like, go ahead. It was like, accept the blame. Occasionally you make a bad movie. Just accept it. Move on. It was like, don't double down. It's like, oh, it's made
Good.
by committee. It was like, this movie was trash. I was in it. Sorry.
Trash.
And then that's it.
Y'all are
Too
harsh tonight, let me tell you. No grace for this poor woman. She is
No,
trying
it
to.
was like, you made a bad
Ooh.
movie. It was
No.
like, Halle Berry is the only person that I knew that I can remember or that jumps to mind that she made a bad movie, Catwoman. She knew it was bad. She leaned into it, accepted it was bad, and she has not been bothered by it again since.
God, that
It was
movie
like
was
everybody else saying,
god
"Oh, Madam
awful.
Web, well, I did the best what I could do, and we had a lot of great people." No, it was like, movie was bad. I was in it. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Like, and then that's it.
Mm.
And fire your agent, get a new one, and do something better.
Nice.
Yep. It's awful. It shouldn't have been made. It should not have been made. And as they were making it, they should have been like, maybe we should stop. Maybe we shouldn't do this
Mhm.
anymore. We should stop right
Like,
here.
shut it
And
down, guys. Shut it down.
yeah,
Shut it down. Take all the donuts you can carry from catering. Just shut it down.
You
Don't
shut
come back
I
up.
tomorrow if you're
don't
not doing it
know.
anymore.
You
I
stupid Casanova.
I don't know how a movie like this at this level
Mm-hmm.
gets made like that, and no one says start over or this is terrible or you're fired. Something they should have said something, but this was absolutely horrible, right? And it goes to the entire run. Carnage, Venom, Madam Web. You're doing all of this without the character everybody wanted to see, which was Spider-Man, and it's just not working. It's
Right.
not
It's like
working.
like some of these characters can't really exist without, at the very least, being introduced with the primary character that there was their antagonist or who they're related to. It was
Yeah,
like, you at
because
least got to have a movie with Spider-Man versus Venom. You get to the end of it, Venom's like, you know what? I'm sorry for trying to eat your brain, Spider-Man. That's my bad. I'm going to try and do better. Then you give
yeah,
him a spin-off movie after that. It's like you show up Madam Web, it's like, oh, you're part of bigger things, and you introduce your Spidey multiverse stuff of whatever you want to do for the live action stuff, because that's her whole purpose. It was like, she
Mm-hmm.
is not something, it's like, oh, it's like, I'm here to carry a movie. No, it was like, nobody liked seeing you in the comics when she showed up. It's like, all right, I'll skip the next 10 issues because they all gonna be centered around Madam Web or doing some nonsense. I'll come back when she's gone. It was
Well,
yeah,
like, no.
I'm
it's just
thinking.
silly.
Okay, I'm thinking it's quite possible because I just looked it up. The movie cost $80 million to make, and worldwide it made 100 million and some change,
What's
right?
that?
Madam Web.
Mm.
So if you think about it, it may have gotten to the point they were already so far down the creative process and making this movie where they had already put out so much money, they were just trying to recoup what they could. You
They
don't
made this
care?
movie. No, they made the movie to hold on to the Spider-Man license because one of the things they had in the
Oh,
contract with Marvel was
gotcha.
that if they don't have a movie in development in the pipeline for all of these characters that they license, it reverts back to Marvel. And that's what Fox was doing when they had the X-Men stuff and pumped out a bunch of X-Men movies, when they
Mm-hmm.
pumped out the Fantastic Four stuff, and Sony was doing with Spider-Man. It was to hold on to those characters for as long as they could to not not try and miss out on those comic book movie dollars. That's all it was.
So then the question begs, if we're just going to make something just to make it and hold on to licensing, how does that benefit us if we're just pumping out trash?
Right.
If
It's like
we're
saying
spending right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't even
Mm.
interrupt you, but it's like I think that Sony restructured their deal
Mhm.
so that Disney will allow them to keep making stuff, but they got to talk to them first. So like
Mhm.
Madam Web and Morbius and Craven rather should be the last of the trash that they
Mhm.
released with Spider-Man because that bad stuff was kind of hurting the brand. So the next Spider-Man movie possibly could be the last one that Disney has a hand in, and then
Okay.
Sony can do whatever they want and then just jack it up. But at the same time, you're probably looking at a reboot because Tom Holland doesn't really want
No,
to work. The rumor
no.
was Tom Holland doesn't really want to work and do Spider-Man movies if Disney is not involved.
First of all, I don't want to see
Well, I
Tom
think
Holland
that's
anymore
because,
as Spider-Man. Okay, I don't want to see him as Spider-Man
well,
anyway.
first of all, I like Tom Holland, but I feel like
Right.
it's possibly he doesn't want to see it go to Sony because I think he has more of a creative hand in it with Disney than he potentially would at Sony.
And probably he also saw what Sony was pumping out when Disney wasn't involved. And he was like, I don't want to be part of that. It was like, that's not me. So, and
Yeah,
then the other thing that Sony has is
they
they
will go
are
to
like, if this is the
Smitty shaking
last
his
Tom
head.
Holland, they have Miles Morales anyway that they
Mm,
also want to try and bring into
love
live action.
that. Hmm.
So there's a whole thing that they want to do that Marvel doesn't have any hands on. So they got options. If Tom Holland doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, they can easily do here's live action Miles, and then they can call it a day.
All right,
But
Smitty, we're gonna go
it's
to
like time will
you,
tell.
and then while you're answering, I want you to also answer Frog's Life, who said, "Who would you rather see as Spider-Man?" There you go.
Andrew Garfield.
Ugh.
He was really really good as Spider-Man. He had the right height. He had the right attitude. Right. He was real slim like Spider-Man. This Spider-Man is short. Right. And he's
Hey,
he's.
I speak on
I'm just
behalf of
saying
all
he's
short
short.
people.
He's short. This whole thing is just disgusting because you can't put Venom with Spider-Man. That's how Venom came to be with. That's how he ended up looking like Spider-Man because it was on Spider-Man to start with, right? And
Mhm.
then he left and got on Brock, which is how he ended up looking like Spider-Man. When you don't have that, and he all of a sudden he looks like Spider-Man, but without the white spider around his waist, around his chest, it just looks silly. It don't make sense. And now same thing with Madam Web. They have to sit up here and try to infer that all of this is because of Spider-Man, but they can't say his name. Can't say his name or nothing.
Right,
It's
right,
just
right.
dumb. Just don't do it.
Okay,
Just
well,
don't do it. Just
maybe
stop.
they've learned their lesson. Hopefully, they've learned their lesson.
They haven't.
Again,
They keep doing it. Craven just came out. They just keep doing this shit. They just keep making one badass piece of shit after the next. Does anybody want to see Craven? No, no, no. Craven, first of all, he's half the size Craven is supposed to be. Craven wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't. He was terrible. He was an awful
Nope.
person. And they made him a decent human being. No. No, that's not who
well,
Craven is. That's not who he is. Stop. Stop doing this. Stop it.
God, we'll move on because Jesus. All right, guys, it seems like every week we have a very specific spot for Ryan Coogler, so this week is no different. Ryan Coogler confirms there is a space and role in Black Panther 3 for Mr. Denzel Washington. During a podcast appearance, Coogler confirmed that he has a role specifically developed for Denzel Washington for the upcoming Black Panthers movie. Coogler says he's always wanted to work with Denzel Washington, saying he thinks he's, quote, the greatest living actor. Apparently, Denzel Washington spilled the beans back in November about his upcoming role while being interviewed. He was talking about retirement and began to list off all his upcoming projects before he finally got to the retirement part. While listing off the projects, he accidentally listed Black Panther 3. He then later called Ryan Coogler and apologized, but all between those two happens to be well. There is no word on what role Denzel will play, but I will absolutely keep my eyes peeled and fill you guys in once I find out. Smitty, what's the problem?
I'll let Casanova go first.
Left.
Would you say?
um,
Oh,
uh, It was like, yeah, it was like Denzel in Black Panther 3, fine. I'll be curious to see how big the role is, who he plays, all of that. And, what the plot of Black Panther 3 will actually be. It was like
Mhm.
I'm really interested in what they do for the third one. It was like I would assume this will be the last one that Ryan Coogler does, just to, since directors seem to like the finishing a trilogy of something. So
Mhm.
I'll be curious about that. But like, I'm at a loss of trying to figure out who Denzel Washington plays. Hopefully something a little bit better than the role he had in Gladiator, but
You better leave him
I'm
alone.
fine with that. No, the role's not good. It was like it's not good.
Dang, y'all will not leave him alone. Smitty, what do you
No,
what do you
no.
think?
Um, I think that it just depends on what type of party play. If you come out doing karate kicks, we got to talk. We got to talk, right?
Like, yeah, if he's the
You got to
Equalizer in Black
stop.
Panther, I'm
Yeah,
not down for that.
yeah. Like Fences, Denzel Washington, amazing. That is an amazing movie, by the way. If you have not seen Fences, go watch Fences. That Denzel, I'll take that all day. That is an amazing performance. Love that, right? Gladiator 2, Denzel, no, no, no. Okay, no. I don't need you doing any of that. None of that. Please stop. Right? But he's a fantastic actor, probably one of my favorites, right? But some
Mm-hmm.
roles he just can't anymore. He just
Mm-mm.
can't. We discussed this last week. What was the other one? The Equalizer?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
No. No, he can't do that. He can't do that no more. He
So
can't do
so
that.
do so do you think maybe potentially this role would be more of like an elder statesman in the community,
I would love
something
that.
along those
I
lines?
hope
I would
so.
love that.
I
It
hope
is like
so.
Okay.
maybe like the father to the next Black Panther or something like that. That would be
As
a
like the
pretty good role. I would love to
grandfather,
see it.
maybe somebody that, puppet master behind the scenes that kind of wants some power, but he ain't fighting nobody,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
or,
want I don't want to see him
something.
as a
Like,
Well,
bad
he
guy.
even
just
as
did that in
I'm going,
Gladiator, right?
right,
So
but
we
hey, you
saw
know what?
that.
Don't pick up a sword, and that part would probably been fine. It was like, I don't want to see you fight nobody. It was like, something is like, he could be government liaison, a liaison
Mm-hmm.
official of trying to do something else. It's like, so I don't know. I'll be curious to what part you've carved out for the dude. It
Right.
was like, I would like, it's like, so I am curious about that, and, just whatever overall story that you're doing. So we'll see. There's a lot of directions they could go. So I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
curious what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Smitty, anything else that you wanted to
Mm,
add to it or
No,
no?
no. I'm just hoping that he picks an adult role, right? I just want him
Well,
to pick an adult role because
well,
you don't you just want to
he's
whisper in his ear
wait,
sometime, like,
he
bro, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. Okay, you got plenty of money. Stop this shit. Stop it right now.
he's not picking the role. The role was designed very specifically for him.
No, you could
So
say no. No, thank you. This ain't for me.
Exactly. You can sit there. It's like, hey, I wrote this role for you. I really want. You're like, nah, I'm not doing that no more, son. But thank you, I appreciate that. But that's no. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
stupid.
It's like you can easily refuse it.
yeah, yeah.
God, y'all are
Before we go to the next
some.
thing, before we go to the next thing, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. All five of you out there, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I promise you, the content as the summer heats up will get a lot better. But right now, this is where we're at. So
Mm-hmm. All right.
let's keep going.
Okay. Y'all some tough ones tonight, I will say. The two of y'all are just right, just downright evil. The Falkers. Yes.
No,
The Falkers
no,
are back, baby. Yes.
boo, boo.
Meet the Parents, originally released in October of 2000 as a romance comedy, grossed over $330 million at the global box office, starring Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, and Robert De Niro. Meet the Parents 4 will come out November of 26 with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro. However, they are now adding Ariana Grande to the crew. Ben Stiller says Ariana is, quote, the whole engine, and, quote, she's going to be really, really funny. The plot has not yet been released to the masses, but Robert De Niro said he read a version that was, quote, pretty good. So we have another installment. What would it take the two of you, Smitty? We'll start with you. I think Casanova's already made his intentions known. What would it take you to get? What would it take to get you to watch this one? Do you think the casting of Grande was intentional to bring in new audiences? And do we think this can be just as good or better than the first?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I watched the first one because I didn't have nothing to do, and it was all right. It was all right. It was decent. It got a few laughs. I had a couple chuckles. Got a few of those. But it was
Terrible.
it was all right. And I'm not. You're asking the wrong person. Like I'm not the comedy guy. Like I like stuff with meat on the bone, like serious movies, action adventure type movies, horror movies, anything with great acting, great storytelling. I'm down for. Comedy's not really my bag. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really do stuff like that. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll watch it.
Casanova. Did he fall asleep? Casanova.
Huh? What's going on? Fockers? No. You give me $4.6 million and I'll go see this movie. Because like I
What?
saw the first one and that fit in that sweet spot with Zoolander and Starsky and Hutch and what's the other one he did? It was like I can't think of it. It was like, but those movies that he was doing around that time, something about Mary, that fit with all of those other Ben Stiller stuff, and it was
Mm-hmm.
funny and that was fine. You do a sequel to it, all right, and then that's it. It was like
Okay.
coming out like 68 years later with "Here's the Fockers War." It was like, all right, let's just not do this. I'm not
Okay.
saying he can't have like a great idea and he cracks something and this could be great for everybody that's a fans of that series. Like you're fans of the series, God bless you, and I'm happy you got another one. But I will not be going to see this
Oh,
because
all
like I have
right.
no interest in this whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't go to the movies to watch. I didn't watch none of them in the movies. That's just stupid. No, no, no. I'll wait for it to come on TV. Like I'm walking out of the room,
Zay.
be like, oh, look what's on. I guess I'll stay for a little bit. It's that type of movie. You know what I'm saying? It's not a movie that you plan to watch. It just come on and you be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll stay for a few more minutes. It's that kind of movie.
Okay. All right. I never watched any of them, so I have no idea.
The first one is
Not even.
funny. The
What
first one's
the
funny.
hell was that first line of your nonsense? So, like he was like, "Oh, the Fockers are back!" Like he was so happy for it. It was like,
I
"Oh,
mean,
I
Right?
ain't never
It's
seen
like
that movie."
like she's seen the whole
What
thing.
is this?
there is
I
someone out
know.
there that is excited to hear that the Fockers are back. So I
No
Yeah,
was
there
one.
was
trying
somebody
to
excited to hear
exude
Madam
the
Web came out too.
enthusiasm.
There was just stuff
Not
like
one
that.
person
No,
is excited.
no.
Not nobody went, yay, fuckers. Nobody did that. Not one person did that. Nobody cares.
Okay,
Nobody.
well, I'm sorry. Sorry, whoever may
Ugh.
be out there and
Like
is an
I thought you was excited for it because that was a series that you liked. It's like, oh, I ain't never seen none of them. It's like, come
never watched
on,
no
man.
never watched one of them. But
Boo,
somebody likes.
boo,
Oh my. Okay, we're gonna move on. We'll move.
boo.
Y'all just okay. Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four producer Grant Curtis has dropped the gauntlet by saying, whatever your expectations are for Galactus, raise them, baby. The character of Galactus in the first steps will be more in tune with the roots of the character and bringing him back to the comic book origins. In a new interview with Collider, when Curtis was asked what we can expect from the world devouring entity, he said, quote, the most epic of the most epic that you can imagine, and quote, because that's the global stakes we're dealing with, the universal stakes we're dealing with, the Galactus. When Galactus gaze comes across your planet, you're not in a good spot. I think that's as big as the scope and scale you could ever ask a villain to bring, excuse me, with him or her, and that is what Galactus brings. One of the beautiful things about working with Kevin Feige and with director Matt Shakeman, they are totally in on sci-fi.
You should say Kevin Feige.
That's why I was laughing. This is already laughing.
Can you please, if I may finish?
Go
Galactus
ahead,
is
finish.
played by Ralph Ensign, who also played the Green Knight. And don't forget the Fantastic Four. The first steps is due out July 25th. Y'all leave me alone. So the question
No.
is, what do you think about Galactus being brought back to the comic book origins versus what we saw in 2007, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, where the imagination of the producers or directors was lackluster, and we were presented with a huge cloud? Smitty, we'll start with you since you got so much
No,
to say. Nope, we're starting with you. Go.
okay. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Galactus's origins. I
Hmm.
do know that he can shrink himself, or he can get big enough to eat planets. I don't know why you would ever shrink yourself ever, right? I feel like you just asking for it at that point. You could do whatever you want, you know,
Ant-Man
when you can eat
shrinks
a planet.
himself and he does a lot. So
No, that's different. He has to like he runs out of energy. Galactus don't have to do nothing, right? All he got to do is smack your little planet. You done so. So I don't know anything about him. Like I'll be the first one to tell you. So
mhm.
hopefully I can learn a little bit about Galactus and what his motivations are. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. I don't know if he needs planets for like energy or some nonsense like that. But um, hopefully I can learn something. Maybe Casanova knows a little bit more about Galactus than I do, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Casanova, go ahead. Smitty got all that
Um,
mouth and then don't even know.
it
So called
was
that
like
Smitty.
like the guy, the producer, said what producers are supposed to say. That was like to help hype up a movie. It was like, oh, raise your expectations. It was like, calm down, buddy. Because if this movie doesn't do anything at the box office, then it was like, hey, Grant, you're off this project. The next four that you're supposed to be, it's like, yeah, we don't want you associated with. So he's saying what he's supposed to say. Like he genuinely may be excited. It's like I don't know. It was like Galactus is, essentially like something in the comics. He's a necessary evil. Essentially, is how it's ultimately explained. It's like you got to have him there, and it was like it just kind of sucks if he sees it's like, hey, that looks like a tasty planet. Let me go on over there and have a couple of nibbles, and then you just kind of screwed. But I was
Why is
like,
he
I'm
doing it though?
curious to what the
Why is he doing it?
he essentially is like. He basically destroys the planet and absorbs the energy from it. So he's not chomping on it, like picking up pieces and chomping on it like an apple or no shit like that. It was like he destroys the planet and absorbs the energy from the explosion of the planet. So and then he just moves on. So it's like your planet is not just a husk; it's pieces and just nothing is left.
Hmm.
Is he a what do you call him? Uh those
A
those
celestial?
massive yeah.
No, he's something different. It's like he's not a celestial, but he's on par with some of that stuff, if I remember right. So, but I was like, yeah, it was like it was definitely better than that cloud bullshit from the Fantastic Four movie. It was like it's definitely them leaning into the character's design and all that other stuff for the brief
Hmm.
glimpses they gave you into the trailer makes sense.
Right.
And it's like I'll be curious. Like I don't think this goes the whole way with the Fantastic Four beating him like they did in the comics years ago with scaring him off with something. It's like I think more or less they fail to stop him from destroying their world and they make a quick escape. But
So,
they're like, we'll see. It was like I'm
so
definitely, that and Superman I'm excited to see, so we'll see.
all right. So based on what he outlined for the character, what are your expectations then for the like what would when you left the movie, would you say, yeah, it was pretty, that was a pretty good representation of Galactus for this film or whatever. Like what would that
Like
look like?
my expectation would be like after this movie is like, woo, if he shows up to regular Earth where the Avengers everybody else on, it's like they might as well just pack it up because it ain't gonna happen. They not gonna win. So I want, it's like if you're gonna have him as this, apex predator like Dennis put in the comments, then I want to see it to the point where it's like, can we stop this guy?
Hmm.
And if there is something that you could do to stop him, I want it to be something that just makes sense. Of like, I
Mm.
don't want it to be like, hey, sit down before you snack on our planet. Let's have a quick conversation about why are you doing this? Of like, don't you know there are other planets in the solar system that you can eat? There's one over there. You can go chomp on that one, and that's fine. There's people here, so like, I don't want that. It was like, but it was like, give me something that shows him as a menace and
Hmm.
definitely like end of the world type scenario. I was like,
Hmm.
and that's what I would expect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well.
I don't know anything about him. I just don't want to see it end in a draw again. Right? I don't want to oh man, we could have beat Galactus, but not this time. And then it's just credits. I don't want to see that. Okay? The last two movies I left, Captain America, where they fought Hulk, and they didn't beat Red Hulk, and they just put him in jail. They put him in jail, and then they let the dude who killed half a city and turned him into shadows. They just let him stay on the team, and it just ended
What?
in a
Okay,
tie.
okay, okay. I can understand your frustration with Hulk, and I agree. There are a lot of movies and things these days where they don't take out the villain or the person causing destruction. I still would like your explanation as to what they could have done with the dude in Thunderbolts. Please
I don't
provide.
know.
Tell
I don't know. You
exactly.
well, they're making a story, right? So you could kill him, right? All you gotta do is write it. That's all you gotta do is write it. But you didn't want to, so I can only imagine that they're saving these characters for like some kind of last or some kind of end knockdown drag out for some sort of end game to some nonsense like that. That's the only reason I could see him saving. But it doesn't. I don't know. All these movies keep ending in the more you know with the star. Oh man. Next time.
Do-do-do-do.
Next time. You
You
did good.
stupid.
You did good. So yeah. I know
Whatever.
we know you murdered all these people and took out half a city and destroyed all these buildings, but no, you're good. You can still hang out with. So I
That's
I, I don't know,
terrible.
man. I just want to see some seriousness put back in these movies, like real stakes, right? Real stakes. Century should have taken those people out. They should not have been able to come back, right? They should
Mhm.
have been
Mhm.
killed. There should have been some
Mhm.
real stakes to these movies, right? That way the hero has something. There's a vested interest in stopping this dude and trying to take him out. Not high
So
five him and be
what
like, "All right,
hero?
get you next time."
What hero though? It was like so basically, a Sentry takes out all the Thunderbolts, and it's like, all right, it's like I'm going into void mode, and we're gonna shut everything down. So then it's like you're gonna have Captain Marvel or Thor come down to maybe fight this dude.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm tired of watching the heroes and the villain go to their separate corners, and then I just paid $21 to watch the movie end up where it started. I'm sick of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Sick of that. I just paid $97 for popcorn and soda, and they didn't even fight. They didn't even do anything. Nobody's even hurt.
Well, I think the reason is because there's in some of the movies, I think it's twofold. Some of the movies, they don't know where the character that they could potentially kill off might be able to go in other films. And then some of them, they have them already set for other explorations or whatever in other films. So
I'll,
that's why.
I'll just give you a quick for instance, right? I don't know how it
Okay.
was in your theater when you were watching Thunderbolts, right? But in my theater, when Red Guardian saved that little girl, and
Mm-hmm.
then she turned into a shadow,
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the theater went, "Oh,
So did I.
oh,"
So
right?
did
Because
I.
do you know why? Because everybody thought she was dead. Nope, she was not dead. She just in La La Land. She'll be back. Just in La La Land. It's all good. It's all good. There was no stakes for me in a situation like that. You find out that the girl is still alive, right? Because people start coming back,
But they
which
didn't
is
know
fine.
that originally.
Exactly.
No,
I
no, no. I'm not
understand.
talking about the viewers. I'm talking about even the Thunderbolts. They originally did not know that.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know they didn't know that, but still. The little girl should have died. That's all I'm saying. I know that sounds dark. I know that
Dang.
sounds dark and terrible, but she should have died. Because
No,
how much
no.
how much
Yeah,
more
it
vested
makes.
are you in revenge when someone is dead? Right? You're like, I'm gonna get this dude. And as a fan of these movies, you're like, oh my god, this is about to go down. They are not finna let this just go unanswered, right? Now you with the heroes, like they got tears in their eyes because they fighting for some little girl, right? I done just fixed your movie for you, just did, right? Should have wiped her out. Should have wiped her out. They shouldn't have come back.
Hey.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. All
I can
right.
see where you're coming from because I still feel the best opening of any movie of the first 10-15 minutes is still the
Lisa.
Untouchables with that girl. So like with the little girl in the briefcase. So I see what you're saying.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do one more topic just because why not? Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool video game. Ryan Reynolds released a video in response to the news that Deadpool VR will not be voiced by the actor who has become synonymous with the character. The voice in the VR game will be done by Patrick Harris, who shot to stardom in 1989 playing Doogie Howser. For those of you who may not know Doogie Howser, Google it. It was a hit. I never watched it, but for whatever reason, people loved it. The video starts with Reynolds' voiceover stating while typing and dressed in a lab coat, quote, "Today I learned a lesson about buttholes. They don't teach you in medical school. People who steal your signature role are the biggest buttholes of all." I will post the video on Discord. I thought it was funny. He goes on to say some other things. It was pretty much a trope to the Doogie Howser character. Smitty, did you get a chance to watch the video?
Or
Casanova, did you get a chance to watch the video?
No, I saw the announcement of the Deadpool VR game when, and the mention of Neil Patrick Harris doing Deadpool's voice. And I was like, all right, I just assumed that Ryan Reynolds either they didn't offer him enough money or he was just too busy to do it.
I think it had to
Him
do with
doing
money.
the him doing the cheeky thing of like, oh, hey, I'm gonna make this video kind of talking shit about Neil Patrick Harris or anything. It's like, that's fine. That's on Ryan
Mhm.
Reynolds and, slash Deadpool's brand. So it's
Right,
all right,
right.
but it's a VR game. I'm not playing it. I ain't got no interest in it.
Okay, all right.
yeah, I have VR and I don't play it that often because it makes you sick. So if you you know if you got to be Deadpool and you got to flip around and start doing all these moves and stuff, nope, that's a wrap. It's a wrap for me. I can't do that. It will make you so sick. I don't know how many people out there in the comment section have PlayStation VR, one or two. It don't matter because the second you have like a flying game or a driving
Mhm.
game, I don't know what it is about VR and you trying to be moving right. It's some connection between your brain and your feet not moving, but you're moving and your brain is just like, I don't know what's happening. It just can't figure it out. And your stomach is, it feels like it's flying, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know, they're gonna have to fix that, but there's no way to play it without getting sick. And you can
It
try and
might
fight
just
through
be
it if
your
you want to.
age, Smitty.
What?
It.
First of all, watch your mouth. Second of
I'm
all, it
just saying.
ain't that, man.
It might be your age.
And it's like,
It might be.
sometimes.
I mean, there are children who play it, and I don't hear them complaining about feeling sick.
That's true. My son play it all the time. He don't feel
Okay,
no kind of way. I'm just saying, like, there ain't nothing wrong with me. You
I
know,
get your age, but
I'm
okay.
so sick of y'all,
All
man.
right.
You sitting down when you playing? Or you standing
I
up?
tried it. I tried it both ways. And
Okay.
almost both times. I tried to fight
Maybe
through it,
take a
but it just
Dramamine before you do it.
Because
I,
I think Chris said that she didn't like watching like her boyfriends or husbands and stuff play video games because she got motion sickness.
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
wrong.
You
I
just
got
making up
That's
motion
what she
facts.
said.
sickness. No, I got motion
Yeah, that's what I
sickness
said.
playing
You
a
got
game. Yeah.
oh, okay, you got motion sickness playing it.
Mhm.
I was like, all right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Nope. So
Well,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
how they're gonna fix it,
Motion
but they
sickness,
need to do something.
everybody.
A bodysuit virtuals. All right.
Yeah.
Smitty, take a
So
Dramamine next time. You'll be all right.
nah, I'm not taking the Dramamine to play no video games. They just need to fix it. Listen, everybody out there, like, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed the content, we appreciate y'all. As the summer comes around and there is more to talk about, hopefully Invasion will come out, and we'll have a little bit more for you. A little bit more meat on the bone, some good stories. And join us Thursday. We'll be talking about Duster and stuff.
Accountant 2
Yep, and Accountant 2. And Accountant 2.
and
And
Predator, Killer of
and
Killers.
Predator, killer movie,
Okay.
killers.
All right.
So yeah, that's coming out, and we're excited to talk about that. But yeah, uh, yeah. So I appreciate y'all, man. We love y'all, and thank you for hanging out with us. And Chris Casanova, I got anything?
No, again,
I want to say no. I don't have anything.
Okay.
whatever.
Dennis Wright said he heard The Predator was decent. The Predator was good. The Predator
Better
movie
than
was really
decent,
good.
Dennis. It's better than decent.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
really, really good. So
Yep.
you should check that out. If you have not seen the Predator movie on Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
you need to watch that. It's pretty good. So we'll be talking about that Thursday. Again, we love y'all. Be safe out there. If you're in LA, please be safe. Take care of one another. Treat each other with kindness, man.
Yep.
And we'll talk to y'all later.
Yep.
Holla.
Cheers, guys.
Be safe.